Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy you're joining me again today for another YouTube video. Today I am making a really simple card, but I had a hard time pulling it together, and the reason was the framing, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. Now today I am using the Saint Nick stamp set by Jane's Doodles, and I am only using the Singing Santa and some of the music notes. So I am stamping that onto a die cut piece of Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, and I die cut that with a small scalloped rectangle die that I found in the Mama Elephant, what is it, the large wiper card? I'm not sure. I will make sure to put it in the description below. I'm stamping that with the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink, and I'm going to stamp that a couple of times probably to get the black to be a little bit more intense. And I'm using just a piece of cloth to make it easier to wipe over the door of my MISTI and get some more even pressure. And like I said, I'm stamping it twice to make it nice, and then I will take out those stamps and put in the music notes to stamp those as well. Usually I would just do these tiny things with an acrylic block, but I find this ink to be a little bit finicky on this particular paper, so I wanted to get the option to stamp them twice if I needed it. For this card, I stuck to some really simple and easy coloring with my alcohol markers. It was really quick to do, and I don't have the deepest of reds, so I'm using a trick to deepen them up a little bit. So I used my darkest red first, then I used my second darkest, and then I'm doing both again. So layering them over each other to get a more saturated red look. Then finally I can go over all of it with my lightest shade, and that will give me a nice highlight as well. So if you don't have a ton of markers, this is a really great trick to darken up your colors and get some more contrast in your images. I'm actually going to do the same thing with the browns. I am going to color in all of it and then deepen up the shadows with that darkest tone and my mid-tone as well. I'm using the same browns for his shoes, and I will also use that brown for his gloves. And then I realized I forgot to color in his pants, so I made those red as well. Now for his beard and his, or the little white trim around his suit and his hat, I will use some grays, and I will use my favorite technique to color in the beard, and that's just start out with doing some really nice shading like I try to do with everything. So it's just smooth shading. And once I'm happy with that, I end up with using my colorless blender, I think, to blend that out into a white. And once I'm happy with that, I can add in some dots to give it a little bit of texture for the beard and the mustache. And I will do the same for the white trim because that's usually a little bit furry as well, right? So just adding in some stippling will really give you a nice texture, but I like to do it after I've done some smooth shading so I have both. I'm even going to do it for the little pompon on the top of his hat. There won't be a lot of dots in there, but anything I can manage to give a little bit of texture to that will make it pop a little bit more. Then for the tiny bit of his face that is exposed, I am just using some skin tone colors, and then to ground the image a little bit, I am just popping in some grays and streaking the ground a little bit, stippling it to, it could be a snow texture, it could just be the ground, it doesn't matter, at least he's standing on something. Now, I am putting this card together, but first, before I got to this step, I arranged everything on my card and I didn't like it. Now, I am using, this is on the back of some patterned paper, like you can see here, and I thought it just blended in with the white of my cardstock a little bit too much, because there is quite a bit of white in this pattern paper as well. So I am framing this with just 2 strips of cardstock. This is a dark brown cardstock, but it has a little bit of shimmer to it. It's really nice. And I'm just popping that on the back of that foam tape to add a little bit of dimension in between the brown cardstock and the pattern paper, so you have a nice frame going. And I am doing the same for my Santa. I stamped him onto a scalloped rectangle and I cut the scallops off, and then I die cut that same rectangle die from that same dark brown shimmery cardstock. And that's just a great matting layer, and that means the Santa is framed as well. And that really pulls the card together a little bit more. To add just a bit of something extra, I am adding a couple of gold, they're not sequins, what are they called? I always mess this up. They're from Studio Katia and they're called Confetti. I think it's just gold confetti. I really like these. I don't like sequins with holes in them. I like these a lot more and I use them a lot. I just pop those up with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and then I can use some pattern paper that matches the pattern paper on my card quite nicely in colors, and I folded an A2 size envelope out of that with my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. I reinforced the score lines with my bone folder, then adhered it all together, and that finishes up my card. I'm really happy I put that dark brown trim around all my elements because it really pulls it together and it makes it so the whites don't all just disappear into each other. I hope you like it too. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, but if you can't wait until I post the next one, which I post almost every day. It's been a little bit off lately because I've been so busy, but I'm catching up, I promise. Yeah, I post almost every single day, but if you can't wait till tomorrow, I do have a couple of playlists on my channel, and I will link one right here on the video for you to check out, and I hope you watch those as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.